Okay, so this is a dreaded video for me to make, and I'll be talking a lot more about this in future videos, but I'm going to go ahead and get into where I'm at in benzo withdrawal. So, bring on the judgment. It has been 10 years since I started trying to taper off of Klonopin, and where I'm at now is a little above 2.5 milligrams. And I know it's a decade has gone by and I'm still on this. But you would have to go through benzo withdrawal yourself, like the syndrome, not what some people go through where it's pretty bad for a short period of time, but I'm talking about the syndrome, the years of agony and terror and complete insomnia, just all of that. You'd have to go through all of that to even begin to understand how I could possibly still be where I'm at right now. And I've been holding for quite some time. I went through a really bad episode about, I don't know, 6 months ago. And I'd had several months where I was just panicking, and more panicking. And it was horrific. It was so horrific, I felt like I couldn't endure it. And that's really the story of how I'm 10 years down the road after first attempt at stopping benzos, tapering, and I'm still on them because it is, in my belief, the only thing worse would be the loss of a child. I truly believe that's the only thing worse than benzodiazepine withdrawal. And I mean, where could I even begin? The symptoms that I have. I mean, you can Google the symptoms, but just, for me to tell you the symptoms that I have right now, no matter what I do, ever since I first tried to start tapering, I have had um, chronic fatigue syndrome. Really bad chronic fatigue syndrome. My spine will start to hurt really bad just sitting up or standing for too long. So it's like I always need to be, not always, but after brief periods of walking around or doing something, I need to be able to sit down and lean back against something. I have really bad depression a lot, but I'm always trying to be happy. And I put my makeup on and I try to think happy thoughts and be grateful for what I have and just be happy as I can. And I feel like I have to do that right now because I'm not yet tapering, though I'm getting ready to start, because I really have to get myself motivated and to feel like I can actually get through this process. This time I'm going to be trying to do 2% drops a month. And that's pretty small drops. But like I said, it is just so bad, Google it, watch other YouTube videos. I mean, you just couldn't understand unless you were going through it. My husband doesn't work. I've told people in my family that he does just to avoid judgment because some people I'm not really close enough for them to see how bad things really are for me. And I feel like I'd have to explain how bad it really is to explain why even my husband isn't working. I'm on SSI. I've been diagnosed with a whole multitude of different mental and physical conditions that really boil down to being in benzodiazepine withdrawal. And so where I'm at the chronic fatigue syndrome, the depression that gets so bad, I have my nights where I go back and forth from listening to Eminem's I Don't Want to Be Alone in the Darkness to Paralyzed. I'm not sure who sings that song, but I play that to this supernatural video that I can relate to very well. Um, Yeah, that's from the show Supernatural. Uh, I cling to whatever I can that will make me happy, and luckily, I can be happy from the small things in life, and from TV shows, to bigger things like the family that I do have that understand what I'm going through and don't judge me so much. But my husband stays home from work because I get suicidal. I I cannot tell you percentage wise what is the percent I believe that I'm going to survive versus the percent I believe I'm not going to be able to endure it. After 10 years of failed attempt after failed attempt just because of the horror that it is, I don't know what percent of me believes I'm going to make it, but I think it's less than the percent of me that thinks that I'm not going to make it. I'm going to do my best. I have, first of all, my two kids that are the number one reason why I am going to fight as hard as I can. But it's just, I see people going through this and it's so bad. And I just feel like most people going through it are stronger than me. They have more of an endurance for it. I have a sort of high threshold for pain, but a low, 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 almost non existent threshold for anxiety. And I will be pacing, it's called akathisia, where I pace and panic. And, that's where I'm at. Like, if I start tapering today, probably this time next month, I would be pacing and panicking and frequenting the local emergency room, hoping that they don't commit me. I can't be completely honest about my mental state and emotional state with therapists. I mean, I'd be locked away. And so there are a few people in my life that I am really honest with about how I feel physically and emotionally and mentally where I'm at. And it's just because they don't seem to judge as much. People that I'm really close to, I have, and which is very few people, I open up to more than anybody else. But, I really don't want to miss out. And when I'm in withdrawal, that's going to take me several years to go through, I'm going to miss out on a lot. I don't want to miss out on my kids. I've never wanted to miss out. This whole thing started for me when I was pregnant with my daughter, and she's now 10 years old. I don't want to miss a thing. It's a song I dedicated to my son the day before he was born. Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. I really don't. And I miss a lot when I'm hiding back in my bedroom trying to kind of hide away from my kids so they don't see how bad it is and get scared for mommy. I don't want to miss things. I don't want to miss life. I like action movies and I like suspense thrillers. I don't want to be watching vanilla shows all the time. I watch Perfect Strangers, if anybody knows what that is. It's a show from the 80s, early 90s. I watch that, Keeping Up Appearances, from it's the British Broadcasting Company, a show that was on before. I have certain movies that I'll watch that I feel like are I call vanilla movies because nobody's dying or it's at least, just kind of slow going and nothing chaotic or overwhelming. I can get overwhelmed just by listening to two people talking at the same time. I can't have the TV on at the same time that someone's talking to me. Or even if they're not talking to me, I can't have several things going on at once. I can't because I become overwhelmed and I lose it. It's easy for me to become kind of paranoid at times. It's very easy for me to lose my temper. This called Benzo rage. I never take that out on my kids. It's sort of like there's like this wall, this barrier. I see my kids, and while they're the reason I'm still alive, it's also, kind of a barrier that protects me from taking my rage out on my kids. It's like, no, I don't go there. I wish I could do that with everybody, but I can't. I make a fool of myself. I'll argue with my husband about something so small because I'm so overly emotional at the time, and even I won't even know that I'm verging on that. I mean, it's been 10 years. This seems like it's me. I've kind of forgotten who I used to be. I still remember, but, at times, I just forget. And I'll be overly emotional, argue with my husband over the stupidest thing. We'll both be, he's got borderline personality disorder. We'll both start arguing back and forth with each other. I'll scream at him to get out. He'll start packing his things, and then I'll chase him not to leave. I mean, that's embarrassing. And it's nothing like who I used to be. I used to be somebody who could just walk away. Whenever an argument got to be what I would say like would be ridiculous on my part or the other person or both, I used to could walk away. And I seem to not be able to do that anymore. It's insane. I would have never believed that a pill could do what this pill has done to me and has done to tens of thousands of other people. I'm in several support groups for people going through the exact same thing that I'm going through. And it's insane. There's not insane doesn't even begin to describe it. I can go into psychosis and it's look that up. It's scary. And it's things that you don't want to have to tell your parents about. If you have loving parents, you don't want to have to talk to them about some of the most horrific things that you go through. You don't want them to worry. But at the same time, you need them to know what's going on. Like, why aren't you visiting for Christmas? Or why didn't you show up to my wedding? Or whatever it might be. It's alienated me from my family. I've got two half-sisters on my dad's side that I would really love to be close to. But I don't want to have to explain myself everywhere I go. I used to have an easy time making friends. And now I really shy away from making friends because of what I'm going through, because I don't want to have to try to explain to anybody else. I mean, here I am explaining now, but this is like it's all encompassing. If you want to watch, then you watch. But what I go through is so hellacious that I don't want to have to explain it again and again to people. So I shy away from making friends. I shy away from getting closer to people. And I have just a very short list, probably people I can count on one hand how many people that really know how bad what I'm going through is for me. And, but it is what it is. My husband is there for me. We know why he's doing what he's doing. He's taking care of me in ways that other people can't or won't. And I need that to keep me going. If he was working, I don't know if I'd be living. That's the truth. That's why he is staying at home. We are able to pay the bills right now. My sister, she's my soul sister, Sarah, she is staying with us right now, and she works, and she's got separate income as well. And so, we're able to pay the bills and we're able to do things that we need to do. But, this is where I'm at right now. I would love to be healthy enough to go to work. Think about it. I think about it. If I could go to work, if my husband could go to work, if Sarah could work too, we could be living in a big home right now. Driving, cars with like dealership off the lot cars with AAA and everything. We could be really financially free in a lot of ways if that were possible, but it just isn't. So, that's where I'm at with that right now. And I guess I'll probably end this just to make another video. Probably discussing my cleft lip and palate surgery I was supposed to have. So I'm going to end it right here before it gets to 15 minutes. Thanks for watching. And I'm just going to keep making videos.